Welcome back to our holiday cooking show. If you're looking for an impressive dessert for a special meal, and Cox Eastes from Kroger has hit this one out of the park. Not just red velvet cake, not just cheesecake, it's both, and it's layered together and covered with cream cheese frosting. What could be better than that? I just love this, Ann.
It's kind of decorative. Well, you know, you came up with the idea, so I just kind of pulled it all together and made it as simple as possible. I've got 2 layers of red velvet cake, and I use the box and the mix, you know, and follow the instructions for the oil and the water and the eggs and beat it up together.
So that's pretty simple. You start with a cake mix.
Yes, start with a cake mix, a red velvet cake mix, which you can find. And then I put them in 9-inch pans, 2 9-inch pans, and I took them out and let them cool on a rack. And then I went ahead and froze both of my layers because I think it's a little bit easier to work with when you're frosting.
Right.
And freezing cakes does not hurt them. In fact, I went ahead and froze the one that we've got on display ahead of time, already frosted.
Okay.
If you happen to have over-baked your cake and it's a little dry, it adds moisture to it.
Oh, that's good to know.
So I do that a lot with the cakes and bar cookies. So we've got 1 layer on my serving plate right here, and if you want to, you can actually put wax paper under here so that you can pull it out after you've frosted it.
Okay.
I did that when I was doing the one for the show, but I didn't do that today. And then I've made a cheesecake. Now this is, the recipe is available for you, but this is basically half of a regular plain cheesecake recipe. I only used 2 packages of cream cheese and a smaller amount of sugar and a little vanilla, and whipped it up and baked this. So
I want to see how expertly you flip this.
Okay, well, now see how, this is my 1 layer of my cake, and see how it's got a little rise right here? Well, I'm going to just kind of flip this cheesecake over.
That's good.
Okay, and see how it's a little bit extra over the side, so I've got a really sharp knife. I'm just going to kind of go around here and trim off just a little bit of this cheesecake so it'll be really good when I frost it.
And then you get to eat the extra.
Then you get to eat the extra. That's exactly
good.
right.
That's always good for the cook, right?
Yes, the cook always has to approve everything. So I'm just going to kind of trim a little bit. This fits pretty good on that side.
It does, yeah.
I think it was just this side that had just a little bit extra so that it'll be even when we frost it. And then what I'm going to do, I did put wax paper under this before I froze it so it would peel off, and I'm going to turn this one upside down because it's got a flat surface.
Right,
and see
okay.
how that just kind of fits into there? And so then we want to start frosting it, and I've got 2 packages of cream cheese and a stick of butter, the real butter and real cream cheese, and I let that sit out at room temperature to get it to the consistency I wanted to.
Do you start on the top or the sides?
I put it on the top and go from there.
Okay.
That's just
all right.
me. Everybody does something different. But
of course, this is all I really need is just the cream cheese frosting.
And you see how you kind of have to be careful of your frosting that it doesn't stick and make your...
So that's why the frozen cake actually helps.
It does. Now, another thing that you can do is put a very thin layer of frosting all over your cake and refrigerate it for several hours so that you don't have the crumbs coming to the surface. Which is
because I'm seeing a little bit of red crumb.
Well, of course, this was frozen, and then I came to the station, so it thawed out.
Yeah, our hot lights are not helping us a bit here.
They aren't. But you can't beat a cream cheese frosting. And when you have the red velvet cake and then the
with cheesecake in the middle, I know.
And then the cream cheese frosting, how can you go wrong? I've garnished it with mint. If you use holly, just make sure you wash off the leaves and just use them as a garnish. And I found something in the candy section to resemble cranberries or red berries, and they're little bitty cherry sours. And
oh,
so
yeah.
That's what my red berries are on the cake, so you can actually eat those.
Yeah. Well, I just think this is such a beautiful presentation. That will just totally top off whatever holiday meal you are serving. Or you could just make it for fun.
It's really rich, and so you probably don't need a large slice, but it is delicious.
It looks absolutely amazing. We can't wait to dig into it. You'll find this recipe and all of the entire holiday meal online in the Talk of the Town section at newschannel5.com. Just look for holiday recipes. We are